Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to the Operation Freedom platform. Our goal on this platform is to provide you information that the bought-off lamestream fake media will never present or never touch. This is, I believe, number 32 in our series of our healthcare series focusing on nutrition and wellness. This series is despised, not only by the bought-off lamestream fake media, but the medical industrial complex. That would be big medicine, big pharma, big insurance, and pretty much pretty diffusely throughout the healthcare community. But it is loved and supported by folks that are interested in empowerment of their own health and well-being. And that's what Dr. Peter Glidden and I try to present to you on this regular basis every other week. And the focus of today's presentation is really getting back to basics and blending science along with nature and nutrition. Now, this is something, you would think this would be a topic that would have been the first topic covered when I went to medical school. And in my 4 years of medical school and 5 years of residency, it was never brought up. It was never brought up. And the person who's given me the best education and the most education on this blending of science with nutrition and nature is my guest, Dr. Peter Glidden. The question is, well, why is that the case? Why was this never brought up in your medical school? And I can give you a long answer, but let me just give you a short answer. If you look at the chairs that are named in the medical schools for the Department of Internal Medicine, the Department of Infectious Disease, the Department of Surgery, they're all named after, well, imagine this, big pharmaceutical companies or big insurance companies. And therein lies the problem in medical schools and medical education. It's driven by the money and a bit of the science, but mainly the money takes precedent in many cases over the science. And this is what we provide to you, bringing in the science together with nutrition and with nature, with my guest, Dr. Peter Glidden. Now, a little background on Peter. He attended Williams College, obtained his Bachelor of Science in Pre-Medical Studies from the University of Massachusetts. He then obtained his naturopathic doctorate degree at the great Bastyr University outside of Seattle, Washington. He has been licensed to practice naturopathic medicine since 1992 and continues to do so, as you will continue to see in a number of his patients who leave very positive comments underneath our videos in the description section. Now, in addition to his fantastic clinical skills, Peter is a fantastic author. I encourage you to get his two books. They're the foundation of our medical library in my home. The two books, and you can get them on Amazon, Everybody is Sick and I Know Why, and Attempt a Cure with Holistic Medicine. It's my honor to welcome back my friend, Dr. Peter Glidden. Peter, welcome back to the Operation Freedom platform.
Dave, it's always a pleasure. Keep on fighting the good fight because, everybody needs to. And I'm not sure if your listening audience is aware of this, but they should be. You were talking about follow the money and that medicine has more to do with money. You were one of the people who blew the whistle on Vioxx years ago.
I was, and I got in trouble for that.
Yeah, can you give us a little snapshot of that just so the listening audience is up to speed?
Yeah, well, at the time, I was still practicing. I practiced for 32 years in the field of orthopedic surgery, focused on the prevention side as well. But one of the pillars in taking care of inflammatory conditions in soft tissues, in joints, and around bones and muscles is icing, activity modifications, and can be the use of anti-inflammatories. And at the time, there were some new type of anti-inflammatories that came on the market, one of which was one called Vioxx. And I had prescribed it to several patients. And within 24 hours of me prescribing it, those patients called our office and said they were having troubles with blood pressure, high blood pressure related issues that they had never experienced before. I told them to stop it. I believe at the time we put them on turmeric, if you will, as another type of anti-inflammatory that's natural, if you will. And I started doing some research, and there were some and this was very early in the process, but there were some other reports documented on the internet of some folks that had prescribed it, and within a very short time period, their patients had developed hypertension issues. I contacted the rep who had come to our office, and I said, hey, look, are you finding this on a regular basis? Because I'm not prescribing this any longer. Because of the 2 people we got it, both called, and 2 out of 2, sorry. Oh, no, never heard. No, never. I go, okay, well, you need to run that up the flagpole at this company who produced the Vioxx. And I then contacted our hospital and suggested that they put a hold on the medication, and based on what I was finding and what I was hearing, because I started making a lot of phone calls to my colleagues around the country. And many of my colleagues were also having some issues with it. I suggested to the hospital that they either take it off formulary or just not make it available until more information was needed. I got in a lot of trouble for that. It appears that the drug company had cut a lot of deals with a lot of medical centers and insurance programs around the country to have it as a, quote, favored status, if you will, as a medication for inflammation. But what happened next, Pete, as you well know, is about a week after I told the rep about this, I was in clinic, and the rep comes in with 2 guys in suits. And I was bringing a patient out to the front desk and turned the patient's chart over to my secretary out front. And the rep said, oh, Dr. Janda, so-and-so and so-and-so from the corporate headquarters would like to talk to you. And one of the guys proceeded to put his finger in my chest and tell me to just shut the hell up.
No kidding.
And not be talking about this. And that I really didn't have a handle on doing research. Now, at the time, I had been a director of clinical research for a nonprofit research organization for many years. I have a number of dozen peer-reviewed published studies under my belt. At that point, had been on an editorial board of numerous medical journals. So I had a more than superficial experience in the research world. One of my studies I was a prime investigator for had won national and international awards. The government had stated that based on that study that I was the lead investigator for, it led to the prevention of 1.7 million people being prevented from being injured every year, saved $2 billion in healthcare costs. We spent $1,000 once on that series of studies. So I had a wide background in research and in presentations and in reviewing. And I essentially threw these guys out of the office. Well, no, actually, I did throw them out of the office. Not essentially. I threw them out of the office. But that's the kind of pressure you get when you become vocal about saying, wait, there's a problem here. And that's the influence of money. Yeah,
which not a lot of people are aware of. And I think that people in the general public have a sense of it. Right. And they kind of understand it. But from my point of view, and certainly your point of view, it's 1,000 times worse than most people imagine that it is. Vioxx was fast-tracked by the FDA. Mm-hmm. And estimates are between 39 and 61,000 people died from the drug because it gave them heart attacks, because it messed with their cardiovascular system, and there weren't enough studies done on the drug before it was released, or if they were done, they were never brought to the FDA's attention, which happens all the time, by the way.
Well, so, and then, Peter, this is one of the problems with coronavirus we're facing now. You know, everything's getting fast-tracked, whether vaccines, whether it's this medication, that medication. Yet we have a medication, Peter, that's been around for 70 years that we know the profile on, hydroxychloroquine, right? Yeah. And whoa, can't go there. You know, okay, it's 6 cents a pill. Wait a minute. We got this other pill that's $100 a pill. Has it been tested at the safety? Well, we're in the process of that. We're fast-tracking that. That's a problem, Pete.
It's a gigantic problem, and that's what happens inside of a monopoly. Yeah. Right? It's the self-regulating, self-policing monopoly. You can do anything. And think this through, right? So let's be conservative and say it was 40,000 people that were killed by Vioxx. Mm-hmm. And nobody went to jail. Nobody's medical license was revoked. There wasn't even an OSHA ticket, for goodness sakes, given to the lab that developed the drug. Now, can you imagine what would happen if a naturopathic doctor
Nope.
developed one medicine and sold it and 60,000 people died, 40,000 people died? What would happen?
Well, hey, how about this? They would lock the entire country down. It would be shut down, right? I mean, look at that. 60,000, right, from Vioxx, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Did they lock down any states?
Nope.
Were stay-in-place orders on, hey, there's this drug out there, and if you get exposed to it, you know what? You could die. So we're going to we're going to put everybody in their houses.
Why didn't they lock us down 2 years ago when we had a really, really bad flu? Why didn't they do it then?
Why didn't they do it when AIDS came about? You know, Peter, I was on the front line in 1983 and working actually in an infectious disease clinic. It was a rotation we had to do, which was outstanding, but it was very sad and hard to do when I was at Northwestern University Medical School. And we were in the hub of what was happening. And that was before AIDS even had a name. And we were seeing these people disintegrate in front of our eyes.
Yeah,
well, Peter, what did we do? We spoke to public health officials in Chicago, and they didn't shut down every restaurant or bar. Now, there was a trend we saw with a lot of these people coming in and where they had been and what they had been doing. And those places where there was this preponderance of people that had frequented and what was happening there, well, those places got looked at by the public health officials, but the whole city didn't get shut down.
Exactly.
And we didn't even know what we were dealing with at the time.
There's no science behind the coronavirus science.
Well, yes, and you know what? And right here, as you know, we're in the largest. I am in the largest POW camp encampment of all in North America, being the state of Michigan, with Commandant Klink, Gretchen Whitmer, Corona Gretchen, Typhoid Whitmer, whatever you want to call her. You know, she keeps saying, "Well, this is based on science and data." All right, show us the science and data for why we can't buy paint and why we can't buy mulch and why we shouldn't go outside and do. Well, there's data and science. Oh, yeah, there is data and science, but how does it pertain to your dictates? Next question.
Yeah, there
I mean, this is the problem. You know, all these clowns that are in politics put this shroud on. It's based on science and data, when in fact they have no data, they have no science. It's all a
that's
scam.
Correct. Well, actually, in point of fact, the objective science points to the fact that the lockdowns don't work, that the coronavirus isn't really any more dangerous than the seasonal flu, and that the lockdowns have done more to promote the spreading of the virus than was thought even a rational possibility. We're still not aware of what that mechanism was, and yet determinations are made, governmental determinations, social determinations are made based on what? It's based on somebody's idea. Somebody who has power. Somebody has an idea. Well, we can let 2 people on the golf course at a time, but not 4. Really? Why is that?
Right.
We can let 2 people in a rowboat at a time, but not any more than 2. Well, why is that? What's the magic about 2? You have to be 6 feet apart. Well, why not 7 feet? Why not 4 feet? Well, I don't understand. Where are you coming up with all of this? And this whole thing about the mask?
No. Oh.
You got to be kidding me. But
Peter,
you know,
even these N95 masks, right?
Well,
the smallest, they filter particles that are 0.3 microns.
yeah, it's pretty small.
The coronavirus is 0.1 to 0.2 microns at the max. Okay.
Yeah, there must be a good price point.
Somebody said it's
now.
like, you know, it's a basketball going through a hula hoop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Peter, if you are sick or if you are immunosuppressed, I can see wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Okay. But I've never seen a study that shows that if you're not wearing a mask and you're healthy and you're dealing with somebody who's also healthy, that somehow you're going to get them sick.
Doesn't make any sense.
Okay. And with this
It
mask
has to
issue,
be social engineering.
Well, here's my concern, Peter. And you've pointed to the data before about the death data is beyond skewed. And now you even have Deborah Birx out there saying that, well, I think the death toll is actually elevated by 25% by the CDC. And I did some digging in the CDC's old numbers, and it's more than 25% because when they start going back and looking at death certificate stuff, it's about a 40% difference between less deaths than they reported. Yet right now the death toll is going down, so they need something else to instill fear in the public. And I believe that's what these mask thing is now.
Yeah, well, it's working because, I went to the grocery store yesterday and there was a big sign on the front door.
Yeah.
As per the order of the governor, you can't enter this store without a mask on.
I'm with you. I know.
And everybody's got masks on. I mean, I felt like I was in the Wild West. When I got to the checkout, I looked at the 18-year-old, clerk who was swiping the food through the scanner, and I said, "I'm planning to stick up the 350 to Yuma." She just looked at me like I was crazy, right? But it's nonsense, man. It's 100% nonsense. And I think what's the scariest thing to me shouldn't really be scary to me, because it's like, this is what naturopathic doctors have been experiencing for decades, right? It is the easy socialization of the population into believing something that's just patently not true.
Yep.
It's patently not true, yet everybody believes it. And it was so easy to do that I think that's a lot more scary than the actual virus itself.
So let's give people some facts, some data, some science
that's a good idea.
About what they can do to enhance the foundation of their entire body, including their immune system. Because Peter, back in January, you and I spoke about, look, when it comes to the virus, don't panic. A measured, rational response approach, Ben Janda's words, is what's needed. And we talked about building up your immune system, protecting your overall health and well-being, and enhancing your immune system. We both stand behind that at this point. Let's go back to basics. Let's blend some science with nutrition and nature. What do folks need to do across the board to enhance their health and wellness?
So that's a very important thing for people to understand and really just get. And as Heinlein would say, grok, right? They really need to understand this. And nobody's talking about this except us. Most people talk about the flavor of the month vitamin or the flavor of the month herb or what you can do. Take this secret sauce to have a healthier immune system. All that's well and good, and the holistic method is the best method. Because the body doesn't need just one herb or one vitamin or one dietary discipline in order to be healthy. As it turns out, there's a lot of things that need to be in place for your body to be foundationally healthy. And once you've got a good foundation in place, when you add extracurricular things on top of that to upregulate the immune system, for example, or to support and promote healthy lung function, or to support and promote healthy blood sugar regulation, or to support and promote healthy cardiovascular function, then it's a home run. And this is the secret to our success, is the fundamental foundation holistic method. And it's really not that difficult to understand. It's kind of like an automobile. You wouldn't put diesel fuel into an unleaded engine, right? And then put a turbocharger on it and expect it to go faster. Well, it's going to go faster, but something's going to break. Yeah. Right? And you need the right amount of oil, the right amount of transmission fluid, the right amount of air in the tires, right? All those things need to be in place before you stick the turbocharger on it. It's the same with the human body. So the foundation is super important and is, well, the foundation of our method. And so here's what it is. Number one, you have to stop eating food that's gumming up the works.
Right.
So you eliminate the 12 bad foods, and you can get that information at Operation Freedom Health. It's free. right? It's
Right.
free good, free's good. So you educate yourself about what foods are good for me, what foods are bad for me, and you stop eating the stuff that's bad for you. Number one. Number two, you have to fill your body's essential nutrient tank up with the right stuff in a regular basis, because the essential nutrients, the nutrients that your body needs but cannot make, have become less and less and less and less concentrated in the food over the last 70 years. Thank you very much, Monsanto.
Right.
You know, I think they did that on purpose. I don't think that was an accident.
Nah, I wish I could argue with you, but I can't.
And it's also interesting, I just saw some new data 3 days ago, that as carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere rise, nutrient levels in the plants decrease, which is fascinating to me. I never knew that before, but it's academic. So the take-home message here is, even if you had 100 acres of organic farmland, and you only ate the stuff that you grew, you know, including animals, you would still be nutritionally deficient.
No, and that's important. That's an important point that 99% of people don't know.
You know, and my colleague Joel Wallach said, you know, he was an active in the military. He was a colonel in the Air Force, and he said that the belief that you can get all the nutrients you need just from eating food, which is a false belief, has killed more people than all world wars combined. Because from our point of view, lack of nutrition, essential nutrients, not enough calcium, not enough selenium, not enough zinc, not enough vitamin B12, not enough, you know, chromium, vanadium, the list goes on, 90 nutrients that the body needs but can't make. The lack of those is directly related, not indirectly, directly related to the genesis of chronic disease. I mean, scurvy is the most famous historical example, right? Horrible disease. Your skin develops ulcers, your bones rot. It's a slow, horrible death. It's a vitamin C deficiency. You give vitamin C, it goes away. That's why the British Navy that ruled the seven seas, their sailors were called limeys.
Limeys, yeah.
Because they kept limes on board the boat. And if their sailors ate the limes every day, they didn't get scurvy. So who knew, right? So nutrient deficiencies are a big deal in making the body weak. It's directly related to the genesis of type 2 diabetes, the genesis of obesity, the genesis of coronary artery disease, the genesis of chronic respiratory disease. It's everywhere all the time, not enough nutrients, right?
Right.
So in order to make your body healthy, you don't just need to focus on the immune system, because this is holistic medicine. Everything's connected. So we stop eating food that's coming up the works. We fill the nutritional tank up with the right stuff in the right amounts on a regular basis. And then we're good to go. That's the foundation. And then, you know, when the viral winds blow, right?
Right.
You can do extra stuff like the Super Olive Health, like extra selenium, you know, like extra whole food vitamin C, things that when added to the foundation, like a turbocharger on a tuned up engine with the right fuel in it, you're going to go like a bat out of hell. And this really is, and you know, it's so simple and so much common sense, but this is the reason that we get such remarkable results, because we just give the body the stuff that it needs, and we trust that nature knows what's best. Because we don't talk about this enough, I think, but the fundamental message here is that the human body is inhabited by a spiritual intelligence which is running the show. Our bodies are smart. They're so smart they grew themselves all by themselves from a tiny cell into us. Our bodies right now are managing millions of biochemical processes, all beyond our conscious control. Well, who's running that? Conventional medicine say it's just biochemistry. But that's what's running the show. It's just osmotic biochemistry. Really? I don't think so. There's an intelligence that's going on here. So the fundamental naturopathic belief is the human body is intelligent, knows how to fix itself, wants to fix itself, is trying to fix itself all the time. And it becomes the holistic doctor's, I would argue, sacred obligation to develop and deliver therapeutics that support the body's ability to fix itself. And the easiest way to do that, the foundational way to do that, is give the body the raw materials that it needs, that it's not getting from food. I mean, unless you do that, it's going to be 2 steps forward and 1.5 steps backward with everything else that you do. And that really is the secret to our success.
And Pete, we have OperationFreedomHealth.com, where we have the videos, we have the 12 bad foods, we have our previous segments we've done, we have the products, and we'll talk about the products in particular. Full disclosure, purchase of the products on OperationFreedomHealth.com does support this platform. So, Peter, we have something there, a group of products called the Foundation Pack, as the foundation for folks' nutritional well-being. Educate our listeners on what's in that foundational pack and why it's so important for them.
The 90 essential nutrients in absorbable forms are what's in the foundation pack, right? 60 minerals. There's actually 77 minerals that are available in it, 60 of which are essential. 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 fatty acids in recipes that have been painstakingly put together over years in order to maximize your body's ability to absorb them, right? Because, I mean, ultimately, it's not what you swallow, it's what you absorb. And not all nutritional supplements are created equally. For example, most over-the-counter calcium supplements, even the super-duper uber German supplements, that cost $200 a bottle, if you're lucky, they're 12% absorbable. Which means if you do the math, and I did this math, wrote about this in my first book, in order for people to get the RDA of calcium into their body every day from a typical over-the-counter calcium supplement, you would need to swallow between 40 and 60 capsules a day.
Okay.
Most people take 2, because that's what it says to do on the label.
Right.
Longevity's calcium, the one that we recommend, Beyond OsteoFX Liquid, it's 97% absorbable. And that's a game changer. And that didn't happen by accident. That happens when you use the scientific method, marry it to the holistic understanding. Well, the body needs calcium. It's very essential. Your body needs calcium for blood pressure, for heartbeat, for nerve conduction, for everything, for goodness. Hormone production, you need calcium, a lot of it. So what's the best way to get calcium into the body? Well, that's a good question. Well, guess what? We figured that out. And we figured it out for the other essential nutrients as well. And this is not, your grandfather's Geritol medical nutrition, for goodness sakes. Reader's Digest vitamins. This is 21st century naturopathic, science-based, clinically verified, very effective medical nutrition. And it's a game changer. And that's why we're so effective, at helping people to recover their health. And this is the game. We are in the business of making people healthy. And that's something that not a lot of people really understand. There's a difference between being physically fit, able to run 25 miles, and not die, and being healthy. It's a gigantic difference. And we don't talk about that enough in this culture. And you need to build health from the inside out with medical nutrition. And when you have those bases covered, guess what? You get stronger. Every month, your body's a little stronger, your heart's a little better, your joints are a little better, your blood sugar metabolism's a little better, your weight gets a little better, your energy gets better, your sleep gets better. Holy smokes, well, that's pretty good. And then it's much easier for a person in a state of health to handle a viral insult, or a bacterial insult, or a fight with your boss, right? And not get an ulcer, or not have an anxiety or panic attack, right? This is important stuff. And it makes a big difference in the overall gestalt of somebody's life, right? Most people kind of suffer through life, right? All these aches and pains they've gotten used to, and it's not being able to sleep through the night. Well, that's just normal. Being 70 pounds overweight, well, look around, everybody's 70 pounds overweight. That's got to be normal. It's not normal. It's normal in an undernutrified body and the person doesn't matter what they eat. They just eat anything that they want anytime. And this is our whole thing. This is, we talk about, well, having a stronger immune system. That's a good thing. But that's not really what this is about. This is about foundationally every day taking another step towards health. And when you do that, you dodge so many potholes in life, health potholes. It's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really in the face of so much political oppression mounted against my profession for the last 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to play the sad violin here, but listen. Right? Naturopathic doctors have been the redheaded stepchild that nobody wants to even talk about, right? For hundreds of years.
Mm-hmm. The
only thing that keeps me going, I can't talk about my colleagues, but the only thing that keeps me going against such stupidity and, a full house stacked against us in politics and medicine is the results that I see with people.
Right.
This is not a 100% effective panacea cure-all for all human ills. It's not. But it is 21st century, sophisticated, science-based, clinically verified, extremely effective medical nutrition, which everybody and their brother needs to know about.
Peter, I'd like to thank you for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. Folks, you can get more information, the 12 Bad Foods, all of our other videos. You can get the products at OperationFreedomHealth.com. And you can get Peter's books, Everybody is Sick and I Know Why, and Attempt to Cure with Holistic Medicine, both available on Amazon. They are mandatory reading. You will not have better medical reference books than those two books. Peter, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your courage in providing people an education that truly empowers them and their health freedom. And I thank you for doing that.
It's a pleasure, Dave. I'm all in on this. As many people as we can get drag into the light, even if it's just one person a day, right? That's a victory.
That's right.
And that's why I appreciate your platform very much.
And I appreciate you as well, and I know our listeners do as well. Folks, thank you for your time today. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thank you for your time today.